Hey, thank you for clicking on our video today. We appreciate you. We appreciate all of our subscribers, and we want to earn your subscription today. The reason why we're on this video today, making this video today, is because today is the 1 year anniversary of this channel. And I know it's been a while since we posted anything on our YouTube channel, so we want to make this one a special one. Today, we're going to be talking about the starter. We're going to be talking about how to identify its rotation. And we're also going to be talking about the left hand. What is the difference between a left hand engine and a right hand engine? The reason why I'm talking about this is because I've ran into this problem when I was trying to buy a starter. My starter that I had on my bus, as you know, if you've been watching my channel, was a 1956 starter. My bus, this 4104, is a 1954 bus, but the engine itself has got a date stamp of 1956. So somewhere back in the old days, 70 years ago, Greyhound switched out the engine from the 54, and it probably was on the road, and it probably got 5 million miles on it. So they switched in another newer engine, and that's the engine that's in it today, is a 1956. So the starter that I had on this bus was an original 1956 starter. So let me explain what I did. I went on Amazon and bought a starter for $398, $386, something like this. But I had to modify it to make it work. So the video that you'll see coming up here in a little bit would be showing how we had to take 1/1500th of an inch off the yoke of the starter to make it fit. And if you look right here, it fits fine. It fits perfectly. It's flush, but off the shelf off Amazon, it wouldn't slide all the way in. I had to remanufacture this yoke, and in other words, modify it again to shave that off, but I also had to clock it. These starters are very clock worthy, so I think it's 2 bolts down to get the solenoid at this point. Um, so you may be saying, why don't I just go buy one that was already available? Well, I didn't want to spend $1,000 on it. So what I did is I saved $600 that I went ahead and bought a new water pump. So on this bus, new water pump, new fuel pump, a new starter. I cannot start it right now because I've got the coolant out of it because it was very, very cold here. And I had 2 mixtures of 2 different types of coolant, one red and the other was green. Doesn't do these engines good by mixing it. So I drained it, and when I get ready to start the bus, it's going to have an oil change, and it's going to have a new gasket here under the valve cover. So yeah, there's a lot more that I've got to do, and especially right over here, I want to change out the generator. This has still got the 1956 generator on it. This is the compressor. To find the generator being back here, but I want to replace it with a belt-driven assembly where I can have a belt-driven alternator. Why am I going that way? Well, I can't find a good alternator that's a bolt-on, and I don't really want to spend that much money for something that if it tears up on the road, I may have to just pull or tow my truck, or pull the bus. So what I want to do is get that belt-driven, and you can buy a 120 amp 12 volt, because this whole system I'm designing it to be 12 volt. You could buy those for $100. So, and if I design it right with the bolt, the assembly, it's going to be very, very easy for me to repair on the road. So at this moment, let's look at how I knew that I needed a counterclockwise starter. You're going to have a hard time finding a counterclockwise starter. Uh, I have found out that Delco stops making them. So if you look at this flywheel right here, if you roll over your 671 Detroit, it will turn upwards. It will rotate upwards. So if you know which direction the flywheel is turning, there's 2 ways of looking at the bus. To find the rotation, you've got to go on the radiator side. As this is making this type of rotation and upwards, if you take that over here to the radiator side, the rotation is this way. instead of 12, 1201, 1202, 1203, it's actually going 12, 11, 58, 50, 57, 56. It's going backwards against the clock. So that's the reason why it's a counterclockwise. So if you want to know the rotation of your engine, always look at the radiator side. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because I had to go and it's not that I didn't trust nobody. It's just I wanted to verify their information. I wanted to know why I couldn't buy a right-hand fuel pump. I wanted to know why I couldn't buy a right-hand water pump. And the rotation is going to be different than the left hand or right hand. But to find the rotation of it, you've got to look at the radiator side. To determine if you need a left hand or a right hand, you need to go to the transmission side. Now here I am at the transmission side. You've already decided and you've already discovered that uh, I needed a counterclockwise starter. How do I determine if I need a right hand or a left hand fuel pump or water pump? Looking at the transmission side, all the equipment, the fuel pump and the water pump is on the left side of the engine. Looking at the transmission, nothing is on the right hand side except the muffler and the basically the muffler and the U-joint. So that's how you determine on a Screamin' Jimmy 671 coach. I do, however, need to point out there's a lot of different types of 671 Detroit Jimmys out there. Some are right hand and some are left hand. When you buy a fuel pump and you buy a water pump, they're going to be in those two categories. All of the 4104 buses, every single one, is a left-hand bus engine with a counterclockwise rotation. These are coach engines, not a semi-engine. These are coach engine. And I think if the manual says they're coach engine 671 type A's. Type A's, I think, now I might be wrong, I'm not looking at the manual, but they are all left-hand engines and all counterclockwise. So when you get ready to buy a water pump and fuel pump, make sure they're left-hand. If you get ready to buy a starter, make sure they're counterclockwise.
If you like this video, feel free to watch our other videos. We would love if you did. Thank you for watching.